Sundance recently did an interview with our friend Daniel Vitalis, and Daniel's question was, can the vegan community please say that if eating animal products was so wrong, then how come all the indigenous tribes ate animal products? Okay, let's answer that question to Daniel. I mean, that's the question I get asked all by my redneck mates. Harley, they're drinking beer and eating steak and chips going, oh, the indigenous tribes ate meat, didn't they? You know, I should get that. I'm getting fatter and sicker and dumber, but the indigenous tribes did it. Must be good for you. I don't know why I'm getting fat, sick and dumb. Must be just my genetics. In all honesty, using past cultures to justify our bad habits, that's like saying, this is a fact, all tribes and cultures did drugs and alcohol of some sort. Drugs and alcohol of some sort. Does Daniel Vitalis do drugs and alcohol? Guaranteed. Ask Daniel, watch his YouTube videos. Ayahuasca, mead, beer, whatever. You know, bongs, tobacco. Hey, the ancient cultures did it, so that means it's okay. So let's just do drugs and booze, because all the cultures did it. If we're going to use that reasoning, let's not cherry pick now, Daniel. Let's not cherry pick. All those cultures that you reference, they didn't use MacBooks like we do, that I do, that you do. They didn't drive SUVs. They didn't ride bicycles. They didn't wear shoes. They didn't have clothing and heating and cooling. They lived outdoors. They slept on the ground. Lived in igloos. Let's not just cherry pick information to justify our bad habits of eating animal corpse and going to the pub and drinking some homebrews. Just because it's indigenous tribes did it. That's a poor reasoning. But hey, you know, people's attention spans and knowledge is so poor in society, it's easy for hucksters to go around selling them colostrum and magic mushroom powders and say, bananas are bad. People ask me what orthorexia is. Orthorexia is when you can't eat a banana. And when you teach that the humble banana is junk food, when you teach that, you're teaching orthorexia. So I don't hate Daniel. What I hate is the results people get from following this orthorexic, can't eat a banana craziness. You know, it's okay to go to the pub and eat steak, chips and drink beer like these guys do, and you can see it, obviously, physically. And hey, nothing wrong with being overweight, on drugs or drinking alcohol. Nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you a bad person. I just feel it's a very bad choice for your health. I see people on a regular basis getting obese, getting super fat, getting anorexic, getting chronically fatigued, getting drug dependent. I see people coming in the health food scene, coming for health advice, and going to one of these talks from these people and saying, hey, ayahuasca is good, tobacco is good, cigarettes is good, coffee is good, as long as it's organic, drugs are fine, bananas and dates, too much sugar, eat honey, buy agave, buy colostrum in little plastic packages. It's crazy, I don't know, you know, so I get pretty hyped up, I get pretty passionate. And we're a good comparison, Daniel Vitalis. I think we're the same age, Dan. You put me and Daniel Vitalis in a running race or a bicycle race, Daniel's not going to keep up for 50 yards. And hey, just because someone's out of shape doesn't make him a bad person. I'm not saying that. You know, I'm just pointing out the obvious, the physicalities here. Daniel Vitalis asked my blood tests. I put them up on YouTube multiple times. Daniel Vitalis' blood tests, never seen them. You know, Daniel says you can't be fit as a vegan. Well, I put up a lot of videos. Anyone seen a Daniel Vitalis workout video? I didn't think so. You know, and again, just because you're out of shape, overweight, doesn't make you a bad person. So this isn't like a personal attack. I'm just pointing out the obviouses. I worked in the bicycle industry for a long time, and someone would come into the bike shop and say, Harley, what do you think about this brand of bike? And I'll say, well, it doesn't have a lifetime warranty. It's made in the same factory as XYZ. It's too expensive, blah, blah, blah. Or I'd say, yeah, it's a great bike, you know, get it. You know, I was respected for my honesty. And that's why people come to me, and I respect that. People come to me because they value my opinion. They valued my advice, they value results that I get for myself and help other people get for themselves. So I'm not going to say things that just impress people. I'm going to tell people what they need to hear. You know, I'm just done with being fake and false and hey, you know, lovey, and then talk behind people's back. What I say on YouTube is what I say to people's faces. And again, I don't want to hurt anybody or be mean, but I want to be honest. You know, I want to be honest with people because there's just too much fakeness going on in the health food, spiritual, raw food, you know, whatever community. In society in general, people are like, "How you going, mate?" And then just like behind your back, just do crazy things. So I don't hate anybody personally. You know, I'm not a violent person. That's why I'm a vegan, because I don't believe in violence. I believe in kickboxing for sport, but I don't really believe in violence. Then Daniel says, when I go to my talks, I say to people, put up your hand if you've been a vegan for 5 years, and people put their hand down after that, or 10 years. So I don't know any real long-term vegans, so that means it's not good. Hey, I don't know personally many people who do not drink or do drugs. In fact, I know less straight people when it comes to drugs and alcohol than vegans. I know vegans who do meth and drink alcohol and all that stuff. Doesn't make them bad people just because you do drugs and alcohol. Bad choice, definitely. But what I'm getting at is, if I go to my talks and say, people, put up your hand if you haven't used drugs and alcohol in the last year, or if you know someone who has not done that, and people might put their hand up. And if I say, what about 5 years? People put their hand down. What about 10 years? Hardly anyone puts their hand up. What does that mean? Drugs and alcohol are good for you? That everyone does drugs and alcohol because they're healthy? You know what I mean? How people draw these conclusions, it doesn't surprise me though. When you look at what they sell and what they tell and what they preach and teach and what they actually do, it doesn't surprise me. Another question Daniel asked was, there's no generations of vegans, so that means we shouldn't do it. That's like saying there's no generations of parents who said no to drugs and alcohol, had kids that said no to drugs and alcohol, and those children had kids and they said no to drugs and alcohol. And there's no generations of that. I don't know anyone personally who's done that. So does that mean we should say yes to drugs and alcohol or say no to drugs and alcohol? I've done drugs and alcohol. I say no to drugs and alcohol now. I have so for the last 10 years of alcohol and 13 years with the other stuff. You know what I mean? It's sort of crazy. So this whole saying, oh, I haven't seen any vegan generations. Hey, Daniel, I haven't seen any generations where people don't do drugs and alcohol. I don't know. You know what I mean? Does that mean we should do it? I know you teach that. I don't teach it. I'm anti-drug, anti-booze. And these people talk nonsense. I get pretty hyped up about it. I get pretty passionate because these people never want to do live debates. Dave Wolf, Daniel Vitalis, Brian Clement, they always back out of live debates. Why? I don't know. I'm not going to make assumptions here, but hey, ask them, why do you guys always back out of live debates? And they might say, oh, Durianrider, he's immature, he's unprofessional. Fair enough. How about Doug Graham and co? You know what I mean? No one wants to go up against Doug Graham. That's just like, you know, the person on the internet with the avatar who's like some photo of not them, who has some totally different alias, who's like, oh, I'm big and tough and I know my information, but go up against a live debate, it's like, oh, no way. So it's easy to just talk a lot, never really do anything. And if you're a person you take advice from backs out of live debates, man, I'd back out of following the information big time, because it means they don't know what they're talking about and they're afraid of getting shot down in front of a live audience. Man, I'm up for a debate anytime, anywhere, anybody. You know how to contact me. So Daniel Vitalis, nice guy, but information-wise, bells and mirrors, smokes and whistles, tells people good things about their bad habits. And hey, most people want to hear about that. Eat meat, drink beer, do drugs, don't do that cardio exercise, because cardio exercise isn't good. I'll tell you what, Daniel, the tribes say exercise in daily life. I'd like to see you do some exercise one day. Get fit, get in shape. And come to our forum, we've got free information on weight loss, how to get fitter, how to eat better, how to get off the drugs and booze. No one has to sign up. You can get free information on our forum, 30bananasday.com. And I'll tell you what, if I had nothing on earth to eat but frickin' some dead fruit bat with half a banana skin and a handful of maggots, I'd probably eat it too. But if you gave these cultures the fruit abundance that we have today, it's a no-brainer, man. Like last night I was walking through a little market here in Chanaburi, Thailand, and there's fruit everywhere. There's more fruit here than anywhere on earth. But they still sell some barbecued crickets and stuff like that. And indigenous cultures eat that. And it's still a little tradition that keeps carrying on, but it's getting less and less as more calorie-rich foods come onto the table. It's incredible. So I'd like to see Daniel Vitalis. Here's a challenge for Daniel Vitalis. I want to see Daniel Vitalis eat some real indigenous foods in the form of local insects, like wood grubs, maggots, etc. I want to see Daniel Vitalis do that because that's what indigenous cultures did. I want to see Daniel Vitalis eat a skunk, because skunks live near where he is and skunks got eaten by indigenous tribes. I want to see Daniel Vitalis eat a cat and a dog, because indigenous tribes eat cats and dogs. And let's not cherry pick information here, Daniel. I want to see you eat a cat and dog. I want to see you cook it up, because I know you believe cooked food's better than raw food. So hey, that's a realistic challenge. Indigenous tribes did it. So I'm not, being crazy here. It's not a crazy request. I'm merely asking Daniel Vitalis, the indigenous nutrition expert, to eat some indigenous nutrition in the form of cat, dog, rat, fruit bat, wings with some maggots. Part of it in balanced indigenous diet in various parts of the world. So it's not a radical request. Is Daniel going to do it? I'll put money on it. He does not. Why? I'll let you answer that question. And then Daniel says, I was a vegan for 10 years. I know, I can speak that language. Let's listen to what Daniel Vitalis ate as a vegan.
As somebody who was a raw vegan for many years, my calorie sources were basically coconut oil, olive oil, and kale. That was basically what I was eating. And, with some tertiary foods, but that was the main stuff.
Now that's definitely not how you want to eat as a vegan if you want to thrive. If you want to have high energy, good blood test, look good, feel good, be good, that's how you don't eat as a vegan. High fat, low carb, starvation, anorexia, orthorexia diet. Doesn't work. And when you get dropped off the deep end and say, I was vegan for 10 years, now people know why it didn't work for Daniel Vitalis. So, like I said, people always judge by results versus theory. When people are talking about, oh, well, the tribes did this and the tribes did that, it's like, come on now. The tribes ate other humans. The tribes ate maggots. The Inuits ate penguin intestines mixed with whale blubber and ate that. They ate each other when there's no food around. Should we eat other humans if you're hungry? Should we eat other humans, eat their brains because that was a tradition in Papua New Guinea? Should we continue that? You know what I mean? Should we sacrifice virgins and do all sorts of crazy wacko stuff? Because that's what traditions did. I say no, I say follow your heart, I say common sense, I say take advice and people getting the results you desire. I say have a lot of fun. And above all, I say eat enough carbohydrates so your glycogen stores are always topped up, so you get enough hydration, you get enough sleep, so you can see through the lies. You can decipher between facts and marketing information. Peace. Thanks for watching.